All right, all right. Happy Monday, and welcome to Grace and Gossip, where elegance meets intrigue. We are unveiling secrets with style. I am your host, Christal Jordan, and as you guys know, we are focusing on what's Martin Luther King Day today. So we definitely have to say, I hope that everybody is. I hope that we're all enjoying in some type of way. I'm trying to make sure that our Facebook audience is locked in as well. I hope that everyone has enjoyed the day and got a little bit of rest. I know it's been difficult for most people to get rest, what with the new president signing 80 executive orders after just being inaugurated into office today. There's just a lot of emotions going, but hopefully you guys can come in, have a seat, and take a load off, and feel a little bit better as we dish on some good gossip and just have a conversation. My girl is hanging out with me today. Sugar Pie, all right, get in bed now. All right. Okay. All right. So again, happy Martin Luther King Day. This is Grace and Gossip, and I want to get into, first of all, before we get started with any gossip, I want to show you all my favorite. I always post, and I didn't today because we did a post for Lennox and Parker, but every year for MLK Day, I posted a picture. You guys know I love Black love specifically. I love love, but I specifically love Black love because I feel like we didn't have enough of it. We don't see enough of it. And so I always post like a favorite picture of Martin Luther King Jr. and his beautiful wife, Coretta Scott. And so this is the picture that I picked for today. Aren't they beautiful? Like, the 50s was such a time with the fashions and, the intentional fashion. Look at her with that hat and that dress, that snatched waist, and those glasses. He's got that hat on. They just look beautiful. And I love doing that. I should put together like a little collage of my favorite pictures of the two of them, because they have some really candid pictures like that one that you don't always see. And I love being able to celebrate their love. So I want to talk a little bit about that today. I think that we have to remember that there are some positive things. I am someone that always chooses to focus on the positive. Sugar Pie and I want you all to do that today. What's going on all the way from St. Louis? That's what's up. You guys, let me know where you are listening from. If you are tuned in via YouTube or Facebook, let me know where you are today. And if you had a chance to celebrate MLK Day at all, please let me know that as well. But I want to read this post because I think that if anything else, we like to come here and have a little gossip and have a little fun. But at the end of the day, I hope that these conversations make anyone that tunes in here better. Eve Dashid, thank you so much. Lanita Burton, thank you so much. Please let me know where you guys are tuning in from. But like I said, I really want these conversations to make anyone who tunes into this channel better. And so I believe the biggest lesson from today was presidential meme coins and billionaires falling in line. The next 4 years will mark the biggest separation of wealth in world history. The rich will get richer and the poor will starve. Focus on ownership and wealth. Everything else is a distraction. And I think that is the biggest lesson that's what I'm going to take out of today. Aside from celebrating Martin Luther King's life and his legacy, I think that this was a lesson to focus on your family's wealth and stop being distracted by little things, specifically things on social media. Hopefully, we tune in here and we talk a little bit, but at the end of the day, what reality star is doing what is not really important. And I think over the next 4 years, there's going to be a huge difference from the have and the have-nots, right? And I really want all of you to take this as an opportunity to really make 2025 count. For those of you that don't know, I had a book that came out in 2020 titled How to Win When Shit Happens. How to Win When Shit Happens. 31 affirmations to build mental immunity in the midst of chaos. And this book was literally, I wrote this during 2020 because I wanted people to be inspired. And I wanted them to realize that no matter what they are dealing with, they have the ability to be successful. And I just want to read one affirmation. I'm going to read the first affirmation, and then we're going to get into the grace and gossip, because I just think today we should do that, right? So the first affirmation for day one, there are 31 affirmations in this book, and you can get this book on Amazon.com. 31 affirmations to build mental immunity in the midst of chaos. And I think that we are all needing a little mental immunity as we try not to focus on things that are very unsettling, you know, like people throwing up Hitler signs and things like that. But anyway, I'm not going to give the energy to that. Day one, affirmation one is I am love, I am light, I am powerful beyond my wildest dreams and imaginations. Two of the most powerful words for what you put after them. I am, two of the most powerful words for what you put after them shapes your reality. So we are speaking into existence that we are going to be victorious. We are going to focus on ownership and entrepreneurship and business and having a little fun while we do it, which is why we are here for Grace and Gossip. Hey, twin, happy MLK Day to you as well. Absolutely, absolutely, Denise. I'm going to pin that comment. And to all, remember, God is in control, but we must stay focused. I agree 100%. And with that being said, we're going to move on to the gossip. Actually, you know what? The first piece of gossip is something that's really inspirational. For those of you that are new to this channel, you may not know that I represent T-Boz and Chili from TLC, and also doing a project with T-Boz and her daughter Chase. They are putting together this fashion online site. Actually, it's Chase's online site. 20 years ago, T-Boz created a boutique called Chase's Closet. And I remember that I had just met them back then. But the boutique basically was clothes, fashion forward clothes for little girls, you know, and she did it for her daughter. That's one thing I really connect with the two of them on, is the fact that we are such proud mommies, right? And so T-Boz created this closet for her daughter, and 20 years later, the two of them, you know, Chase's passion for fashion was birthed back then. And so they're working together on this project to a pop-up that's in LA that Chase has coordinated, and the proceeds will give back to the LA fire victims. And so I want to play this little commercial that we put together. And if you are in LA, or if you know anyone in LA that, you know, would like to come out and meet Chase and see some of the clothes, it's vintage fashion, which is super cute because, you know, to Chase, I was talking to her and she's like, vintage fashion is from the 90s. And I was like, girl, okay, 90s vintage, okay, we'll take that. But it's fashion from around the time that her mother was doing her thing as an icon, both in fashion and on stage. So please visit Anila's boutique. I'm going to share a little bit more about that. And then if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me, of course. There they are, super cute picture, mommy and daughter. And 20 years ago, musical icon T-Boz opened a fashion boutique inspired by her beautiful daughter Chase. There they are together, different pictures from when Chase was a baby. There they are. And I think Chase actually designed a dress when she was little. And there she is, all grown up, beautiful Chase. Anila Vintage, and Anila is Chase's middle name. And so if there are anyone out there that would like to interview Chase and T-Boz, please reach out to me. And again, those proceeds are going to benefit the victims of the LA fires. There's Chase looking all grown up and beautiful. Sugar Pie, get in the bed. 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 All right, here we go. Lennox and Parker. We are not chasing pop culture. We are celebrating Black culture in its entirety. And that is what we are doing with Chase and T-Boz. So please check that out. Like I said, if you're in LA or know anyone in LA, the store that they're doing the pop-up and that Chase will be there is on Sunset Boulevard, probably one of the most popular, infamous streets in LA. But definitely will be there. And she is absolutely gorgeous like her mama. So, okay, that being said, let's get to the gossip because I was right. I was right. You guys know, hold on, sure, if I get in the bed. Get in the bed. Get in the bed. Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. Okay, so I said a couple weeks ago that when Karen Huger missed the reunion, first of all, when Karen Huger from Real Housewives of Potomac, when we saw the videotapes from her DUI, she has deflected this entire season, right? And I remember we saw the videotapes and I did a TikTok and I did a short video for YouTube. And I said, Karen needs to take a seat. She does not need to be on the upcoming season of Real Housewives of Potomac. Then we heard that Karen missed the reunion. And according to her team, she checked herself into rehab. Now, I told you guys before, I know that rehab is we all know that's a defense mechanism to keep you out of doing any jail time. Your lawyer will suggest, hey, you know what? If she didn't have to do jail time, she'll check into rehab because Karen has admitted no fault, right? Karen has not publicly, as we know, or privately, at least not from what we know, admitted any fault. She kept deflecting and saying that we wouldn't know until the court case happened, until the actual case happened. However, the video, and there were snippets of it released on social media. I was able to see a longer version of it, and it was ridiculous. And we saw that, Ray trying to shield his wife from the foolishness and folly, her going off on the officer, all of that. So after that, I said, Karen does not need to be on Real Housewives of Potomac. Number one, she does not take accountability. Number two, this is dangerous. Like the fact that she's gotten 4 DUIs and will not take accountability for it, it's just a bad representation on Bravo. And because she is a reality star, it seems as though they are kind of brushing things, under the brushing things away. Now, I have heard that other housewives have dealt with the same thing. I do not know that. I do not know because I don't watch the other the other seasons besides Atlanta as well. But I did today this story for Collider. Karen released a statement. My story is far from over. She resigns after the DUI scandal. Now, I want to say she resigned. However, she has not, as of yet, taken accountability. And I'm going to read the statement. I'll put it up here for us to read together. This is Karen's statement. And as you will see, there is no accountability even in this statement. She says, after much thought and reflection, I have made the difficult decision to step away from the Real Housewives of Potomac. This journey has been nothing short of extraordinary, filled with unforgettable moments, personal growth, and of course, plenty of Grand Dame energy. I am forever grateful to my loyal fans, Bravo, and my amazing castmates for the memories and support over the years. While this chapter may be closing, my story is far from over. I am excited to focus on new opportunities, my family, and continuing to elevate my brand in ways that reflect my passion and purpose. Thank you all for your unwavering love and encouragement. The Grand Dame is not going anywhere, just evolving. Stay fabulous and always remember class and grace never go out of style. Real Housewives of Potomac, #thank you, #Grand Dame forever. Yeah, Still no accountability. Like I want to make sure that we understand that drunk driving is still, in this article, I said drunk driving is still one of the biggest, it's the biggest cause for traffic related fatalities, right? 13,000 people lost their lives last year due to people driving under the influence. That is not okay. And although I am not unsympathetic to Karen's personal issues. You know, most people that are dealing with something in their lives, often they self-medicate, and I'm not saying that's not the case. However, when you make the choice to get in a car while intoxicated, you are not only putting your own life in danger, but you are also putting the lives of those innocent people that are on the road who have not made the same fatal choice. So I don't, you know, although I'm empathetic to her, it is no excuse. And, you know, I would be more empathetic to the people that she could have put in danger while on the road. The fact that it's not happened, I think that she has not had an accident, she's not hurt anyone, is she's blessed, you know, and lucky to an extent. However, there's some accountability that needs to be had. You know, I would have liked to seen her. I'm fine with her taking a break, but I don't believe Karen is taking a break because she really wants a break, because all she said was, this is a new chapter. I'm excited about all these new things. She's delusional. She's not said, I have made some bad decisions. I have made the wrong choices. What's up, Melissa? I apologize to my fans, or even if she doesn't apologize to her fans, at least to the people that look up to her. The fact that she's driving drunk and putting other people's lives at risk is a problem. Giselle brought it up on the show. Now, whether Giselle was being authentic or she was being messy, probably knowing Giselle a little bit of both. However, what she said is very true. And anyone that has dealt with a family member being hurt because of the negligence of someone that, you know, failed to make the right choice and drove, gun boss, drove under the influence, that they would not have any, I don't see how they would have any empathy for someone who is a repeat offender. Karen needs to definitely get herself together. I do think, I think that she does owe the public an apology, because she's a public figure and because she keeps lying on a public platform. So if she was quiet about it, then I wouldn't say anything. But the fact that she's been deflecting on the show, and we have to realize that when people go on reality shows, they sign an agreement that says they will share their public lives. Now, you and I have not done that. And so if we have gone through something, we don't owe the public anything. But at the point that Bravo is paying you a check and you have agreed on your own fruition, no one has forced you, you have not been hand-tied or coerced into doing this. You've chosen to be in the public. And Karen enjoys being a public figure. She's just, oh, my fans, and I'm all this, and they've, you know, there's grand dame moments. Well, in addition to the grand dame moments, there have been some embarrassing and some mistakes that the grand dame has made, and she should own up to them. You know, I think that's just a part of being an adult. And so I do understand. It's funny because whenever someone does something and we hold them accountable, then people always say, well, what about someone else? You know, there have been other housewives that I don't really follow the other housewife franchises as closely as I follow Potomac. But I do know that growing up, if I did something and then I told my mother, well, my brother did it too, she would say, I don't care what he did. I'm talking to you. And so I definitely think anyone that's on a public platform, I think it would be irresponsible for Bravo if there are other housewives that have gotten that are repeat offenders with drunk driving offenses. I think that's irresponsible on the part of Bravo, because driving under the influence kills people. And when you have people on a platform and you are highlighting and glorifying their lifestyle, and their lifestyle includes something that's very public. These people, when they get arrested, it becomes public fodder for public consumption. So at that point, they have a responsibility to say, I made a mistake. If not, they should be released from their contract. That's just my opinion. I don't write checks, so it doesn't mean anything. I'm just saying that if you can sign up and you can get paid a very, very handsome wage for exposing other people's business, then you have to, take the heat when the exposure comes around to yourself. So I do think that it's smart that Karen is leaving, but I think the reason that she's leaving is not because she really wants to focus on getting herself together. I think that after that video was released, she's horribly embarrassed, and her castmates were not letting up on her. And I think she can't handle it. Karen has never taken accountability all 9 seasons of Real Housewives of Potomac. There have been allegations that she is having an affair on her husband. Not that she should acknowledge that. That's totally different. That's not putting anyone's life at danger. But she doesn't take accountability. And I think other people on the show are forced to take accountability. So yes, I understand that Karen is, the elder, but that's even more reason why I think she should take accountability, because she is an elder, right? Wisdom, my grandmother always said, you don't want to get old for no reason. So at 62 years old, the fourth DUI, we got to figure something out. Something has to give. And so I think that it's a good thing that she's not on the show. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm an elder too. I'm not 62, but I'm definitely an elder as well. And I just think that, in your 20s, you have a little bit more flexibility with what people will accept. With each decade, it's like, now, girl, you know better. You know better. You need to do better, right? You need to be a better example. You need to have learned something in all these years that you've been here on the planet. What have you been doing with yourself? No, it's definitely 4. And now what it is, she's had 4 arrests. I don't know that she's had 4 convictions, but she's had 4 arrests and she's had 2 convictions. So, it's too many. And in each of those situations, it could be she's had 2 convictions, 4 arrests, but in each of those situations, someone's life could have been in danger. Like, really, 1 DUI is too much. But once you've had, and you guys, well, I don't know if you guys know, but I have friends that have had DUIs, and it's difficult. Like, they're first of all, they're extremely expensive because you have to pay a lot. The state taxes you to death, right? And then a lot of times you have to take a defensive driving class. Like, it's not something easy. So if you're doing it, if you're a repeat offender, you probably have an issue. And like I said, you put yourself in danger. The way Karen's video, the way that video was of Karen, she definitely was she was in danger. She was in danger just because of what she was doing. The way she was acting in that video was not to her best interest, right? Poor Ray. Poor Ray was trying to keep his wife out of, but hey, in any case, I do hope she gets the help that she needs. And I do also think it could be easier for her to get that help if she's not in front of the cameras, because I do acknowledge that's probably a lot of pressure, which is why I like I said, those of us that are watching this show, we're not on reality TV. And so we haven't signed up for that. So we don't have that pressure. And I'm sure it's difficult dealing with pressure in our everyday lives. But can you imagine if you made a mistake and the entire world saw it? That's a lot of pressure. So I do think that it's probably going to be easier for her to really get help away from the cameras. And do I think Karen will be back? Absolutely. Absolutely. I predict that she will be back in 1 to 2 seasons, 2 maximum. Karen will be back. Karen loves being the grande dame. She is probably doing that, like I said, as a way to keep from having to explain everything. Or it could be also that her lawyer is trying to put her in a position that she has more sympathy from the judge. And being a reality star, it's not always extremely sympathetic. So, that's my take on it. But I want to move on to another member of Potomac that I have less empathy for. I don't have at this point, my empathy for Mia has run out. If I even had any to begin with, I don't know that I had much to begin with, but I'm over Mia. I'm over it. I had this article on Collider that says Mia Thornton makes Giselle Bryant look like a saint. And basically, I just talks about how the two of them have gotten into it this season because the buffer of Robyn is gone. But Mia is, again, accountability is not something that is done well in Potomac. Besides Ashley. Ashley is be dead wrong and, you know, takes it and says it and laughs about it. And I don't know what we just saw, you know, but I don't know what's going on with Ash. I don't know, Sugar Pie. Sugar Pie's like, I don't know. Sugar Pie, you don't know either. We don't know. But Mia is crazy. Okay, so what we learned, I don't know who watched last night. If you watched last night, put an XO in the chat. Last night, basically, Mia was outed. So Ray sat down with Gordon, and Gordon shared with Ray that he and Mia were not necessarily really, I guess, separated, and that he was the father of their son. The paternity test was a ruse, another ruse for Mia, and that she and Mink, of course, we know she and Ink broke up because she acknowledged that. But I think she acknowledged that on social media last week because she knew this week her spot was going to be blown up. Carlos King nicknamed her Mia be lying. And I don't think there's another Mia be lying all the time. Mia ain't nothing but a liar. Like, she is wild. Like, and again, I understand that you have to have some spice and some, you know, you got to for these shows. That's what makes us tune in. And that's what gives us fodder to talk about like this. But you're right. Her level of lying is it's unheard of, even on reality TV. Now, I think I did a story that compared her lies to Phaedra's from Real Housewives of Atlanta, because I don't know how many of you guys remember, but when Phaedra was on Real Housewives before she got kicked off, she lied about Kandi trying to drug Portia. That was the lie that got her released from the show. But before that, she lied about her due date, which was crazy because every woman on there had had a baby before. And we all know if you've had a baby, you know what those weeks do. And Phaedra tried to act like she was 6 months, but 9 months because of when she got married, which was wild. But the fact that she did it with a straight face at a dinner table with Nene Leakes was crazy to me. And Kim, right? And Kim was a nurse. I mean, but even if Kim wasn't a nurse, people that have birthed baby, anybody who has birthed a baby knows that those weeks didn't make any sense. Not only that, I mean, it's one thing if it's like 1 or 2 weeks off, you know, babies can come early, especially first babies. But girl, 2.5, 3 months. And the fact that Phaedra sat there as an attorney at the table and just lied. And I understand it was the storyline. I understand, but it still was just a ridiculous, unhinged lie, because you got to know that people are going to be like, girl, you're lying. Like, you got to know people are not stupid. And there were several other lies that Phaedra told, but those were the two biggest ones that stood out, right? Phaedra also says she has not had plastic surgery. But it still pales in comparison to Mia. I still think that Mia wins in a crazy way. To say that Ink may be the father and then to play about something like that with your child is one thing to lie about the child's due date, right? Because the child is not here yet. What did she call? Phaedra called the child Mr. President. He wasn't here yet. I don't think that she would lie about her child now because her boy is of age and he can understand. Mia's lying about this middle schooler. And the child is old enough to know what is going on. Like, that is crazy. And then she lied about the fact that I know she has an oldest child. Let me get to that. So Mia lied about that, but then she also lied about the fact that when they were on the trip to Panama, and she gets on the charter bus and she's dabbing her eyes and she's like, oh, Gordon took the children and I didn't know where they were, and she's crying. Like, Mia creates tears. She is a tear factory. She created tears and she's crying. And when you tell women who have children and are no longer with the child's father that your children's father took the child or children and left the state without your knowledge, of course, that's going to make everyone alarmed, right? Because that is probably a mother's worst nightmare, that your child would be, it's a way of saying that the child's father kidnapped them. This is very serious. This is what she said, that she did not know where the children were. And Gordon took them, and she was crying and she was all emotional, and everyone was, empathizing with her and giving her their attention, and she stole the scene. That's what she does. She steals the scene. And then it comes out but first of all, before it even came out, after she finished crying and dabbing her eyes, she says, she calls Ink. And then she tells him that as soon as she gets back from Panama, she's going right to Atlanta to see him. At this point, the other ladies start looking like, well, I thought you were worried about your kids. First of all, if your children have been taken across state lines without your knowledge and you don't know where they are, why are you able to enjoy a girls' trip? Why wouldn't you go a straight way? Because she said the children were in Martha's Vineyard, right? Or the Hamptons, one of them. I think it's Martha's Vineyard with Gordon. She found out. So now she was upset and distraught, but then she did find out eventually where they were. But it's still, if that was the case, and he had violated the boundaries of the agreement, then you would leave right then. Because how can you enjoy a girls' trip if you were just worried about your children, in essence, being kidnapped? Mia then takes a call from Ink and tells him that she's leaving Panama and coming straight to Atlanta. So obviously you're really not that concerned about the children, because you're not going back to DC, Potomac, you're headed to Atlanta where Ink is. So, the ladies call BS on Mia, but the problem with Mia is that's not the type of lying that lying about other women for the reality show, that's what they do. But lying on your children and your children's father in a way that can affect the children is disgusting. It's disgusting. And I just can't. Someone said that Mia was Giselle's karma. I don't think. Like, nah, not Mia. Like, it's got to be somebody else, because Giselle can be messy, but she's not going to, even when she thought for a second that Mia was really upset about her children, of course, everyone's going to, stand down. But I don't think anyone I don't even think Phaedra, who has no problem lying, I don't even think Phaedra would tell a lie like that. Like, that is a different level of toxicity. For the housewives, I don't even know if other housewives, I do watch some of the other series, and there are a lot of women that are full of it, but I think Mia's got it. Like, you lied, you created suspicion about your son's paternity, and your son I know he's older than 10. So you wanted him to have to deal with that because you wanted a storyline? I'm not even talking about all the lying about her, the family and the money. And I want to say this, and I know a lot of you guys are not going to agree, and that's okay. It's okay. We can agree to disagree here, right? Because this is about gracious shade, right? And grace and gossip. And so we give each other gossip. We give each other grace as we gossip, even if we don't agree with one another, right? We can give each other grace. So my grace is saying that Mia talking about Gordon's mental illness, and she keeps using these copy lines about bipolar disorder and saying that, oh my gosh, I've had to deal with Gordon's bipolar and this is so much on me. And she's again tapping the eyes, and it's like, does Gordon really have bipolar disorder? Or are you his disorder? I mean, maybe he does, but Mia has something too. Maybe he does. I'm not saying, because mental illness is a very, you have to be very careful and very appropriate. However, he's not the only one suffering from something. If he has bipolar disorder, she's matching him. She's matching him and needs the same prescription that he does, if that's the case. That's what I'm going to say. I think that she weaponizes that against him. And I think the reality is Mia married an old man that she's not attracted to for his money at the time. And I don't feel no sympathy for that. Like, when you are a stripper and you make the choice to marry a patron, and the patron is over 20 years older than you, and then you have 2 children with him, and then he is 20 years older, so he gets older a lot faster, and then he suffers from erectile dysfunction. You don't get to be angry about your choice. And she said, she said, well, he's the one that exposed my infidelity. I didn't. Girl, you is wrong. You is wrong, Mia. You is wrong. You exposed his mental disorder. He might not have wanted to share with the world that he had bipolar disorder, but you felt fine. You felt justified in making yourself a victim with his disorder. And so he told the world that you cheated on him with your high school sweetheart. And what? All's fair. All's fair. In fact, you're still up. You're still up because he cannot help his mental health diagnosis. You, ma'am, can help the fact that you've been running around with the little ink. You chose that. You chose it. So I don't feel I don't feel sorry for Mia. I really don't feel sorry for Gordon either, because when you go to a strip club as a man and you choose one of the women there to be your wife and the mother of your children, and then later you realize that he is not the type of guy that oh wow, hold on. Hold on, I'm so sorry. My phone is going off. Okay. 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 I am so sorry. Okay. That was a small emergency. But yeah, I don't, Mia would be good on Trader Joe's. She would. I'm over her on Housewives because I just feel like but I'm looking forward to the reunion. I'm looking forward to the reunion. We're gonna have a good time after the Monday after the reunion, because I want to get all off into that. I would definitely want to get all off into the reunion because I want to see Andy hold Mia accountable for all her lies. And he has been doing that. I almost wish he would bring somebody else. But I know it's not, but because they would have shared with us that there was a special guest. But remember when Nicki Minaj was the host for the reunion. I wish he would bring, I don't know about Nicki, not right now, may not be her best time, but I think he needs to bring somebody, because Mia's just getting away with murder. And Karen's not going to be there. I want to see Mia held, her feet held to the fire. Now, that is a lot of fire and that is a lot of feet. But she shared that she wears a 12 on Carlos's show. And I'm not shaming her. I'm just saying that is a lot of feet and that is a lot of fire. But I want to see her held to our accountability, because you can't lie about children's fraternity. That's just not cool. Not cool at all. I did quickly, before we move all the way off of Potomac, I did not realize that Robyn and Giselle are still doing the Reasonably Shady podcast. And it's so interesting that Robyn predicted that Karen will do jail time for her DUI. Robyn, I have been someone that has given Robyn grace. I believe in giving everyone grace, I've given Robyn grace when a lot of people have not really wanted to extend grace to Robyn. I feel about Robyn like I feel about Letitia Scott from Love and Marriage Huntsville. I think they are both hated on because of their husbands. So Juan was doing craziness and Robyn didn't want to acknowledge it, but I don't think that's not gonna hurt anyone. Just hurts Robyn. Doesn't hurt anybody but Robyn, right? Tisha doesn't hurt anybody but Tisha. Marceau being disrespectful doesn't hurt anybody but her. You know what I mean? So I don't think, and I also don't think that you can be mad at someone for not wanting to leave their husband. Now, Robyn actually was away from the husband and then begged him back. So but that's still like her issue, her crime isn't hurting people. That's why I don't understand why people are so mad at Robyn. Why are y'all so mad at Robyn? Because the only people that get hurt in Robyn's lies is Robyn. But the fact that Robyn, so like I said, I tried to have Robyn's back a little bit, but then Robyn got on a Reasonably Shady podcast and started talking trash about Karen. It's like, girl, don't nobody like you. Hush, hush, hush. This is not the time for you to be making fun of Karen. Now, I did put in the article that we understand Karen and Robyn had a rivalry because Karen said that Juan was cheating with a woman that looked like her. That was hilarious to me. She basically insinuated that Robyn's husband wanted to sleep with a man like her. And so that was kind of crazy. I don't know. I don't know. That's why they don't like each other, right? Because Karen was outing Robyn, and Robyn was outing Karen because Robyn said that Karen was cheating with the blue-eyed man, and Karen never took accountability and act like she didn't know who that blue-eyed man was. And Robyn act like she ain't know who the woman was that Juan was cheating on her with. So both of them very delusional. But I just think it was strange that Robyn would say that she believes that Karen's going to do jail time. She said that she believed that she would do. Let me read you guys what Robyn said, because I felt like it was out of place and really wasn't her. It wasn't her place to say. However, it was hilarious. And then Giselle, who is not a friend at all, Giselle quickly distanced herself from Robyn's conversation and said she did not agree. So Robyn said, I predict 60 days in jail, and then when she gets out, at least a year of not being able to drive or blowing into like the breathalyzer before she can drive and do community service. She said, let's clean the highway. Yikes. I don't know why Robyn said that, because she's got to know that her likability is low and Karen's likability is high. I'm probably one of the only people that feels like Karen needs to be accountable. Most people forgive Karen because she's quick-witted and she's a grande dame, right? But Robyn shouldn't have said, you're not in a good space to be pointing fingers at anyone else. But she could be right. She could be right. I don't know. We'll see. I do think that also could be one of the reasons that Karen chose not to come back, because if she does have to do, even if she has to do community service, Karen's not going to want to talk about that on the season, and she knows that them girls are going to read her for filth and are not going to let her leave. So she doesn't want to deal with that. So anyway, Robyn Dixon, hush. I think Giselle needs to bring Ashley Darby to the Reasonably Shady podcast and let Robyn chill for a little bit, because if she chills for a little bit, people may forget how much they don't like her, and then she may be able to come back. Who knows? Another point I wrote about, and I know you guys are going to hate this one because there's a lot of Nene Leakes fans, but Nene Leakes was doing publicity this past week with Sierra Gates from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And I said, Nene Leakes' podcast isn't the comeback she thinks it is. It ain't going to be. I don't see it happening. Now, I say that because Nene, they went on Tamara and they did quite a nice little press run. Good for them. And I've interviewed Sierra several times. Now, the Housewives, like Love and Hip Hop is here, right? And then the Housewives are here. Both foolishness and folly, reality foolishness, both glorify the wrong things. But I just don't think that Nene pairing with Sierra is going to be the big comeback that she is hoping it will be. And I'm not going to say anything negative about Sierra. I mean, she's definitely going to give, like, some people like, they like the opposite of Grace. Let's just say that, right? So I know my channel could probably be a lot bigger if I didn't have Grace, right? But that's just who I am. And I insist upon keeping it. But Sierra's not going to give you the Grace, right? So that's what most audiences like. They like the rah-rah. They like the rawness, if you will, right? And Nene has that to an extent, but I just don't think that that's going to be a win. I don't think it's going to be a win. You guys know one of my favorite shows is The Upshaws. I am in love with Mike Epps and Kim Fields on The Upshaws. And I didn't think that I would like it because Living Single was one of my all-time favorite shows. And in all my friend groups, I was the Regine character. So I am surprised that I actually like her on this show, because the chemistry of her and Mike Epps is very different than her with Queen Latifah, Erica Alexander, and Kim Coles, right? Very, very different. But I love the show. And if you guys haven't watched it, please watch it and let me know what you think. I think it's in the 6th season. I binge watched the entire season 2 days ago. It's just a great show. And it's one of those shows that actually shows real life, right? But it remains authentic to Mike Epps, because, you gotta let Mike Epps be him. And I feel like his character is realistic to who he is. And I feel like hers, it doesn't try to paint a falsehood of family. So I think a lot of families can relate to the Upshaws. Anyway, saying that, there was a cameo with Nene and Cynthia and Wanda Sykes, which was hilarious. And Wanda Sykes is executive producer. She's great on the show. Like, she's really, really good. She plays Kim Fields' sister, Lucretia, and Mike Epps, of course, is her husband. But the three of them are great chemistry. Really, probably Mike Epps and Wanda Sykes' chemistry is what makes the show. But I really, really like the little cameo of the Housewives, like a parody of the Housewives. And Nene was on there. I know that Nene wants to be back on the Housewives. We've heard her say that she would consider coming back. This is after she sued Andy Cohen and called him a racist. Said Bravo was racist. I don't know that. I just tell you guys my opinion. If I was a Bravo, well, you know what? Let me say this. I was talking to a girlfriend of mine today, and we were talking about how it's important when you're doing business to make decisions based on business, not emotion. So maybe that suggests that Bravo should bring Nene back because she would be great for ratings. But I just feel like after you have accused the network of racism and sexism, it's kind of difficult for me to feel like you should be asked to come back, you know? And definitely at the salary, because at one point, Nene was the highest paid housewife. So having her come back, making that sacrifice in salary for her to bring her back, I don't see that that's a good idea. Her show that was on WeTV did not do well. She had a show about like people in love or whatever. I don't think her and Sierra's podcast is going to be this big thing that tips the scales. And I don't think that Nene and Sierra are the same type. Nene has been on Glee. It's a good look for Sierra. I don't know that it's the best look for Nene. And it could be me being a little bit shady, but I just don't think that the math is not mathing to me. Love and Hip Hop, like I said, is very, very different than Bravo. Very different than Real Housewives. And you're right. If she, well, obviously Nene didn't really believe that. And we knew, if you know, you know. I didn't ever believe Nene thought that they were racist anyway. I think that she was upset because she felt like she was bigger than life, and they showed her that she was still talent and she was not, as necessary to the network as she believed. And so she tried her hand. She actually paired up with Bethany. You remember that? And they tried, and that was a better pairing to me, but still didn't work out because it's two divas. So maybe being with someone who's not as big a diva as she is, I just don't see this lasting. And I definitely don't see it adding to Nene's portfolio in any positive way. Shouts out to my girl Fiscani, who has been dressing Nene. She looks great. And Freddie O, who shoots her. I mentioned both of those in the article. He's her personal photographer and always makes sure he gets the right angle, which adds to her, the vibes, where she's looking good lately. But I don't think this is going to do it. This is not going to be what she thinks it is. But good luck to her. Good luck to her. I'm not really a Nene fan. And if you watch the channel, you know that I'm not, because I feel like Nene doesn't really offer anything besides bullying people. She's in reads. She gets good reads, but she's a bully. And I think she's one of those people that, bad behavior has been rewarded, right? So between Nene, Evelyn Lozada, like these are women whose bad behavior is always rewarded. And Evelyn, I think, has pretty privilege like Giselle, but Nene, it ain't even pretty privilege. It's loud, over the top, loud, annoying, loud, and annoying, and big, and you see her bully the other women. Cynthia, she bullied the whole cast. The only person that she wasn't able to bully on the Housewives was Kandi. And I think Candy's one of the few people who actually knows who she is. And that's why she wasn't able, but she bullied everybody else on that show and won. Now, Portia did not even want to be on the Upshaws if Nene was on there, which is crazy. But Portia said, I've been in my bag and I'm good. I don't need it. So she actually withdrew because they had both of them. And she withdrew from the opportunity because Nene was doing it. So next week, I'm going to talk a little bit about Portia and Phaedra, who were over in Nigeria, shaking their moneymakers, in very little clothes, taking pictures in the club. Thank you, PR Envy. Sugar Pie is sugar. Watch this. Hey, Sugar Pie. Sugar Pie. Sugar Pie. So when you call her name, her tail automatically does that. She's going to go get groomed. Sugar Pie. Yeah, that's the tail. So when I get up at night, Sugar Pie goes to, anytime I get up in my room, if I go to the bathroom, she goes. If I go to the kitchen, she goes. But if you say her name, her tail, Sugar Pie, yeah, that's what it does. That is what it does. This is my baby girl. That is my bestie in the house. We are, anytime I get up and go anywhere, it could be 3 a.m. If I get up to go to the bathroom, I look down and Sugar Pie is right there. Yeah. Yeah. She's like, are you calling me? Do you want me to come? Oh, no, you stay there. So anyway, I want Sugar Pie to be in here with me for Grace and Gossip. You know, I feel like she's a good mascot for Grace and Gossip. But like I said, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Portia and Phaedra. And then also, I want to know, for you guys watching the live right now, and for those of you watching the replay, what did you think of Toya on Married to Medicine? If you saw it last night, Toya threw a baby shower for her $30,000 Birkin bag. I have some points coming on that, but I just want to know, what do you guys think about that? When we are in a time, and I'm sure, you know, we know this was filmed a while ago, but throwing a party for a group of ladies to celebrate a $30,000 Birkin bag. And what's interesting is she's the wife of a doctor. For those of you that don't watch Married to Medicine, Toya is the wife of an emergency room doctor. So her husband does really well and he spoils her. And she also was on the show, so she has a wage of her own. Dr. Heavenly, who is a dentist and her husband is a doctor as well, she said, you know, I don't spend my money on stuff like that. That's crazy to me. Simone, who is an OBGYN, her husband is a real estate agent. She said, I have, you know, some Birkins, but that's not something that I would celebrate publicly. So I want to know, what do you guys think? Do you think, this is the poll question, I'm going to put this up on the page for those of you that are watching afterwards. Do you think that it was inappropriate for Toya to host a baby shower for her Birkin bag? I will share my thoughts a little bit more next week. I think you guys probably can tell what my thoughts are. But yeah, a baby shower with a case, a lit up case, and it was a celebration. Now, I don't know. We always have to take into consideration certain things could be production driven, right, or suggested. But I definitely don't think that they would have asked anyone else on the show to do that. You know, so last night's episode was interesting. In addition to Toya's baby shower for the Birkin bag, Sweet Tea hosted a speed dating event for May-December relationships. So older men and younger women, and older women and younger men, to which Phaedra was paired with a 30-year-old man, African man. That's important if, you know, when you tune in and see the video that I'll post next week of Phaedra and Portia dancing it up in Nigeria. So according to rumors here in Atlanta, Phaedra is dating this 30-year-old. So we'll talk about that next Monday as well. What do you think about May, December? And do you think it works the same way? Sweet Tea is dating Dr. Eugene. And so, well, now she's not dating, they're married. And so she is a big, you know, campaigner for May, December relationships. And I really don't have a problem with them myself. Like, I think people, if you find love, great. If you find lust and that's what you want, great. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. But I really want people to chime in on, what do you think? They did. It was a full baby shower with the meatballs, the food, and everything. And the ladies did not know that it was for a Birkin bag. Some of them thought maybe she was throwing it for, they thought maybe Quad was pregnant or someone else in the group was pregnant, but it was for Toya's Birkin bag, and it was her first Birkin bag. Birkin bags are $30,000 starting, and this was a small Birkin bag, you know. But I mean, I don't have a Birkin bag, so I guess I can't speak to the size. But I'm just saying this was definitely the starter kit Birkin bag. But she named her Stormy, and yeah. So let me know what you think. Um, let me know what you think. Would you host a party for a bag? Do you think that that was in poor taste? Do you think that it was fine? Do you think that it makes sense on the show? Who do you agree with? We'll get into that next week. But tonight, thank you guys for tuning in to Grace and Gossip, where we do, you know, a little sophisticated gossip with a little gracious shade, exclusive conversation, that, you know, elegance meets intrigue for all of you that appreciate, you know, a little gossip with a little bit of sophistication mixed in there. My name is Christal XO. This is my channel, and I thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure that you tune in Wednesday, because Scorpio Mo and I will be back with an all new Dating Diaries. And we have some things to talk about. We have a new topic coming up that I will share with you guys then. So make sure that you tune in. Also, before you leave, make sure that you like this and let me know what you think about the Birkin bag baby shower. Okay? Make sure that you leave it in the chats, and I may use some of your comments for an article that I'm writing. I like to be able to take comments from my audience and like put them in articles for, you know, just public opinion. So let me know what you think. I love you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's issue of Grace and Gossip. And I also hope that you had a great Martin Luther King Day. I hope that you are committed to remaining positive in the face of everything, because as we know, God is always in control. All right. I love you guys. Have a productive and blessed week. And I will see you back here on Wednesday for Dating Diaries.